And nice to have Jamie Lee Curtis with us as well. You know, where'er they may wander, the great and the good all end up back at Shepherd's Bush. This man has come back from a world tour that started in Oslo before 5,000 and finished in Chicago before 55,000. In between, there were 184,000 at the Maracanã in Rio. A slightly smaller, but a more select group here. For All My Trials, Paul McCartney.
Only one thing that money can.
Well, that was some tour. 184,000 people at Maracanã.
Yes, at least.
Weren't you terrified standing there looking at them?
I thought it was going to look like miles and miles and miles of people, but because it's that little compact stadium, it didn't actually look like that many people. But yes, it was terrifying.
Yeah. Now, this latest single of yours, a bit of a storm in a teacup over this, isn't it?
Yes, it became like a sort of political thing. Yeah. In actual fact, we just started off like liking the song, and then we put a video to it. But it suddenly seemed to have a more powerful message, because we use things like homeless people and NHS closures, stuff like that in the video to show the trials. And then the timing was right when Maggie got dumped. Remember that? Which we couldn't have possibly known about. As you know, you plan these things weeks in advance. So the left-wing newspaper got hold of it and ran it, and then the right-wing newspaper countered it, and then Dr. Jonathan King climbed aboard, and it was all hell broke loose.
Does that make you feel, I wonder why you bother?
No, Terry.
What was that? Was that a flash of... That was a flash of the Wirral there, wasn't it?
There's a bit of wit there, I think, yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
Not here.
It's funny, some people said to me, look, you've got a lot of money, you're disqualified from talking about the homeless, because you're well off. Which I think is mad, I think, in fact, probably the more money you've got, the more you've got to talk about the homeless, I would have thought.
Yeah, but money, of course, is not the answer, is it? Flinging money at it.
Exactly, yeah. But, I mean, flinging a little bit of publicity at it, I don't think hurts, really, because the other alternative is to ignore it.
Now, you're still...
Like sell.
Yeah. Too
true.
Too true. Make that point.
Yep.
Too true. I'm sorry that chair has sank down, because they were so tall, I didn't want them towering over me. Making you look smaller than you are. Yeah. You're still winning awards. Actually, you just won an award for having the best teeth or something, wasn't it?
No, it was a good behaviour award from Wandsworth.
This week there were two more awards, weren't there?
Yes.
For the biggest crowd, for the...
There was this big crowd in Rio, got an award. Yeah, and in America we broke the box up. We were the top box office thing, but I'm playing it down, Terry.
Are you?
Modestly, he said, well, yes, we did win it. No, it was great. It was marvellous at this venerable age of mine to still be winning awards,
It kind of... Did it change your attitude a bit and say, I'm going to tour every 10 minutes from now on?
Well, maybe once a year, maybe not 10 minutes. But I thought when we started the tour that I'd be totally knackered at the end of it and that I'd hate audiences forever. In fact, I think I ended up a bit fitter at the end of the tour than I started. And I loved it. And so, yeah, we're thinking of doing it maybe in about a year's time.
You sort of, in your programme for the tour, you rediscovered the Beatles songs, in a sense, the ones that you had written, and you were able to bring the audience in as well on all those participatory songs. That make a difference to your concert? Do you feel it gave it something else? Yeah,
it was good. I mean, when the Beatles broke up, all of us didn't want to deal with the Beatle music because it was kind of painful reminders of what had all gone down. Well, enough water had gone under the bridge, so I felt it was time to sort of bring them out and unpack them. And I realised I hadn't done quite a few of them ever, because the Beatles weren't touring. So songs like Hey Jude and Sgt. Pepper, I'd never actually sung to an audience, so that was quite a buzz.
You're about to work with Carl Davis on the symphony as well?
I'm not about to. I've been working for about a year with the man.
Anything happening?
Yeah, we've been working like loonies for about, say, about a year now.
What are you doing it for?
It is for the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra. It's, they commissioned me to write a piece for their 150th anniversary. So, some very old people in that orchestra. But, and so it was a great opportunity for me, because I've kind of flirted with that stuff with Yesterday and Eleanor Rigby and things like that. I like so-called classical instruments. But this is a really big challenge. This is like the full bit. It's an oratorio for the full orchestra, the full chorus, the oratorio.
An oratorio?
You're wondering what that is, aren't you, Terry?
I thought he was a character in Hamlet.
No,
You know what I mean?
fellow who shot Moby Dick.
We were talking about families earlier on. You're a family man. Would you agree with that about keeping your distance from your family? I mean, I know everybody's got their own way to happiness.
Hate to tell you, I wasn't listening. I was round the back.
Oh, great.
Oh, that's marvellous.
terrific,
I
yeah.
invite him on the
that's
show,
funny, yeah.
and he doesn't even
No,
listen.
doesn't pay any attention. Yeah, they were saying...
But, what was they saying,
They're
Terry?
saying the secret of a happy Christmas, a happy family Christmas,
Yeah.
was not necessarily...
Don't go.
You know, well, exactly. No, get together for dinner or lunch, but possibly have a cigar outside in the garden afterwards on your own.
Yeah, you know, I think that's right in some families, you know. I don't know, occasionally you need your space, you know, I go along with that. I'm very lucky, I've got a kind of close family, family, because it's an Irish word, cross family.
If you came on this program to spitball,
No, you know, I think it is true for a lot of people, and occasionally for me, but I'm quite lucky. I quite like having the kids around. And I hear the theme music, so thank you very much, Terry Wogan. It's been lovely having you on my programme tonight. Over to you, Tel.
Thank you. Well, I'm very glad to get the chance to wish you good night. Thanks to everybody, and thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the programme. We'll have a musical spectacular next week from all over the West End, so join us for that, and don't leave your couch. 7 o'clock Monday. Bye-bye.
And at the end of this most crucial political debate of the week, Paul McCartney has weighed in, though not with quite the damning indictment of Thatcherism you might have expected from studying the Mirror.
It's been taken up by the Daily Mirror, a slightly left-wing newspaper, as kind of an anthem, you know, because it fits with their campaign that they're running. And unfortunately, it's been politicised because of that. But the point really is that it's... in the video of the song, we happen to use footage of NHS patients, homeless people and stuff. And it shows the current state of Britain in one of its forms. And it just has turned out to be a little bit more hard-hitting than any of us thought. So with this particular timing, yeah, it looks like it's condemning the Thatcher years. It, in fact, wasn't. It's condemning anyone who didn't get it right, which unfortunately, at the moment, does have to be the Thatcher government.
But the video looks like a political video. You're saying it's not supposed to be one?
It originally wasn't intended to be a political video, and it depends what you mean by political. You know, if you mean left, right, right, opposite, left, that it isn't. Political as I'm a grown-up 48-year-old living in Britain at this moment with 4 children, and a lot of friends and relatives in Liverpool who have a lot of trouble with NHS queues. You know, I see homeless people asking me for a fiver on the street in sleeping bags. So to that degree, it is political. It wasn't intended as a political thing. It was just intended as an antidote to the sort of sugary sentiments you get out round about Christmas. I just thought this kind of might be an attractive song against all that mistletoe and holly.
But now you're putting it out with this video and it's being seen as an attack, if you like, on the Thatcher era. Is that an attack you would now agree with, now it's turned out that way?
Yeah, I would, in fact, you know, I mean, I can't now say, oh, well, I didn't mean it.
It's led to Jonathan King, who's promoting a pro-Thatcher record, jumping up and down saying this is cheap publicity for you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that's an interesting point. I don't agree with it. As I say, you know, for what? For what? Get me more famous? Get me some money? I'm giving the money away. Jonathan, what is it? Actually, if you read his article, the worst thing he says is, I haven't got a sense of humour. Which isn't true, because he makes me laugh.
Paul McCartney talking to Robin Denslow. Quick look now at some of today's other news stories.